Some players are defined by their goals, others by their assists. But John Barnes, he was defined by more. He transcended the game, broke barriers and became an icon. From the streets of Kingston to the legendary Anfield pitch, Barnes wasn't just a footballer, he was a force for change. This is the story of John Barnes, the man who redefined football and society in ways few could have imagined. John Charles Brian Barnes was born on November the 7th, 1963 in Kingston, Jamaica. Football was in his blood. His father, Roderick Barnes, was both a military officer and a national footballer. Growing up in Kingston, young John spent his days playing street football, sharpening his dribbling skills on the rough pitches of Jamaica. It was here, under the Caribbean sun, that Barnes first fell in love with the game. But the Barnes family's life would soon change. In the mid-1970s, they moved to England, where Roderick took up a diplomatic role in London. The move was significant, not just for the family, but for John's career. England, however, wasn't always welcoming. The 70s and early 80s were a time of social unrest, economic challenges, and rising racial tensions. Amidst this, football became John's escape and pathway to success. In 1981, at just 17 years old, Barnes was signed by Watford FC. The club, under manager Graham Taylor and backed by its famous chairman Elton John, was on the rise. Barnes quickly became the team's brightest star, dazzling fans with his pace, dribbling and creativity. His talent was impossible to ignore, and by 1982, Watford had secured promotion to the First Division. This was a time when English football was gritty, with its physicality often overshadowing flair. Yet here was Barnes, a player whose style evoked memories of Brazilian football, filled with grace and technique. His performances helped Watford finish as runners-up in the league and reach the FA Cup final in 1984. But it wasn't just football that defined this period. In the early 80s, the UK was undergoing cultural shifts, with bands like The Clash and The Police dominating the charts, and the rise of punk rock reflecting the frustrations of a generation. In football, Barnes was standing out for all the right reasons, even as the backdrop of societal tensions loomed large. In 1987, John Barnes made a move that would change his life forever. He signed for Liverpool FC. At the time, Liverpool was at the height of its powers, having already won numerous league titles and European Cups. But Barnes's arrival brought something new to the team: creativity, unpredictability and flair that Liverpool hadn't seen before. Playing alongside legends like Kenny Dalglish, Ian Rush and Peter Beardsley, Barnes quickly became the focal point of Liverpool's attack. In his debut season, Liverpool stormed to the First Division title, with Barnes scoring 15 goals and creating countless others. His ability to glide past defenders, whip in deadly crosses and score from any angle made him one of the most feared wingers in English football. But Barnes wasn't just known for his football. His background as a black player in a predominantly white league at a time when racism was rampant meant he was fighting battles both on and off the pitch. Barnes' arrival in the First Division coincided with a particularly challenging time for black footballers in England. The 1980s saw widespread racism in football stadiums, chants, slurs, and even bananas being thrown onto the pitch. Barnes was a target of this abuse almost every week. Yet, he stood tall, refusing to let the hatred define him. One of the most iconic moments of Barnes's career came when he kicked a banana off the pitch after it was thrown at him by rival fans. The image became symbolic of Barnes's resilience. He didn't react with anger, he responded with grace, letting his football do the talking. His dignified stance made him a role model not just for black footballers, but for all players who faced adversity. Off the pitch, Barnes became a prominent voice in the fight against racism. As one of the few black players in the national team, he understood the importance of representation and used his platform to advocate for equality, both in football and in wider society. In many ways, Barnes was ahead of his time, pushing for change in a sport that was slow to address its issues with race. While Barnes was redefining the game in England, one moment on the international stage remains etched in football history: the legendary goal against Brazil in 1984. Playing for England at the Maracana, Barnes picked up the ball in midfield and went on a dazzling run. He skipped past defender after defender as if they weren't even there, before calmly slotting the ball into the net. The goal silenced the Maracana, left the Brazilian fans in awe, and showcased Barnes's exceptional skill on a global stage. It wasn't just a goal, it was a statement of what Barnes could do, a moment of pure footballing genius. But despite such moments of brilliance for England, Barnes often faced criticism, with some sections of the media and fans never fully embracing him the way they did other players. For many, this was an unjust reflection of the racial biases that permeated the game. As the 1990s wore on, Barnes continued to play a key role at Liverpool, but injuries began to take their toll. He reinvented himself, moving from the wing to a more central playmaking role. Though less explosive, his football intelligence and passing range continued to shine through. He won 2 FA Cups and a League Cup during this period, further cementing his status as a Liverpool legend. After leaving Liverpool in 1997, Barnes had short stints at Newcastle United and Charlton Athletic before retiring in 1999. But Barnes's involvement in football didn't end there. He transitioned into coaching, taking charge of Celtic and later the Jamaican national team, though his coaching career never reached the heights of his playing days. Beyond the touchline, Barnes became a respected voice on television, continuing his advocacy for racial equality. His openness about the challenges he faced as a black footballer and his willingness to tackle difficult issues earned him widespread respect. John Barnes's legacy is about more than just football. Yes, he was one of the greatest players to ever wear a Liverpool shirt, and yes, he is still remembered for his breathtaking skill and his ability to turn games on their head. But his legacy is also about the barriers he broke down and the paths he forged for future generations of black footballers. Barnes helped change the way the game is played and, more importantly, how the game is seen. His courage in the face of adversity, his commitment to advocating for equality and his undying love for football have made him an icon, not just in England but around the world. John Barnes, an artist with the ball, a pioneer in the fight for equality and one of the greatest players English football has ever seen. His journey from the streets of Kingston to the heights of Anfield is a testament to his talent, resilience and strength. He didn't just change games, he changed minds. Thank you for watching the story of John Barnes, a true footballing legend. If you enjoyed this look at the incredible career of John Barnes, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment with your favourite Barnes moment. Stay tuned for more in-depth documentaries on football's greatest legends.